Welcome to Culture Vine, where we talk about media, culture, technology, and everything in between. So, my name is Mari. Today I'm hosting together with my co-host Marcy.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about expat living.
Yes, so something we're very familiar with.
Yeah, so let us just introduce quickly, our experience as an
expat. Yeah.
Okay, so Marcy, when did you move to the Netherlands?
Well, I've been here for 5 years now. So originally, I came to Amsterdam to start my master's, and I never finished it. But I'm still here. I started working after a little bit, and etc. Life moved on, but kind of at the same time as Mari, and that's how we met, actually.
Yeah. So I also came at the same time, which is actually 4.5 years ago.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh.
It's not 5.
You're counting.
But anyway, because 5 is an important number for me.
Oh, really?
We'll get to that later.
Are you going to do an anniversary?
No, it's just that I can apply for permanent residency.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's important.
Okay.
See, you don't need to care about it.
Yes.
No, we'll get to that. So 4.5 years ago, and then I finished my master's, and then after that I started working, and I had 2 jobs, and now I'm still an expat, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I guess, just to give some context too, the Netherlands, in Amsterdam specifically, right, it has a very thriving expat culture. Can you say that? There's a lot of expat here.
Yeah, exactly. Here. So have you been? Yeah, you. Okay. So how many countries have you been before, like to live?
To live.
Yeah.
I've lived in Brazil, America, and France.
Yeah.
And here.
Yeah. And then would you say that Amsterdam has like the most lively expat culture?
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like Amsterdam also has a very unique thing going on for it, in the sense that we are I'm not Dutch, but there is such a huge international community here, despite the fact that not a lot of people speak Dutch. Yeah. I think that's what makes it kind of unique. So you kind of live in a society that has these 2 different kind of spheres, like the Dutch sphere and the international sphere that only speaks English. And yeah, basically, I feel like a lot of the international people here end up very much integrating into the international community in a way.
Yeah, definitely. And would you say it's easy for you to live here as an expat?
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. I have even though I'm Brazilian and I've been born and raised in Brazil, I have a German passport. I feel like that's the case of a lot of people that do end up coming here. If you have a EU passport, it becomes much, much easier. I don't speak a single word of German. I've been to Germany probably like 4 times visiting my roommate for a couple of days. I really don't know anything about the culture. So I definitely think it's kind of like an unfair situation. But honestly, without it, I don't know how I would be able to live here.
Yeah, no, that's fair, because within the EU it's so easy to move around.
Yeah.
And just in fact, 53% of the expats here are European citizens.
Yeah, that's really almost surprising to me, in the sense that I would think that more are.
I thought so too. So this study was not like a huge national-wide survey. Like they did the survey nationally, but not to everyone. They were like 2,000 correspondents or something like that. So they were selected. So there may be more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where did you find it?
It was IPCU or something like that. I don't remember the name exactly, but I just Googled and I found it.
Yeah.
My number of skill.
I think you've been getting more and more interested in this topic too, right? It's something, I mean, of course we talk about it because we live here and we are expats, but I feel like you've been particularly, I mean, one affected because you're not European, so of course it's harder for you. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, I just feel like I've been getting more and more interested in this topic.
Yeah, especially because I think this sphere really changes. It's not static. As in, okay, so now, of course, with the European Union, it's easy for European people to move around. But, like, look at what is happening in Ukraine, right? Like, the refugees from Ukraine are welcome here. And it was not, like, really...
Ik ga even koffie halen.
Ah, oké.
Wil jij nog iets van de supermarkt?
Nee, dankjewel.
Tot later.
Doei.
Sorry, interruption.
Yeah, so the situation around immigration really changes over time. Like, of course, for European people, it's been quite easy. And it will be easy, I think. But, like, for example, for me, or, like, for Japanese nationals, the rules changed in 2017, which is not too long ago. So people, or Japanese nationals who came here before January 2017 or something like that, didn't even need to have, like, a residence permit to work. Yeah. So, like, it's really easy.
But that's kind of like a little bit of historical within immigration, right?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of countries used to be way more open, like America or like Brazil. There's so many immigrants that came back in the day, and then restrictions start applying more and more and more.
Yeah, definitely. So it's getting, like, before people didn't know what they were facing,
Yeah.
I think. And now they're like, oh, shoot, so many people coming, we don't know how to deal with it. That's why we'll make it a bit stricter. And of course, the government is quite slow at implementing those new rules. So that's why now it's kind of keeping up.
Yeah.
It feels like they're getting stricter and stricter. But yeah, I just feel like there's a bit of difference between the expectation that we have as an expat versus actually living here.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of wanted to maybe hear a little bit more also about, like, the term that you were telling me about before. How do you say it again?
Term.
Yeah.
Like
the decolonization.
Yeah, that's my work in progress title of this episode.
Okay, but like but I think it's important to kind of give it a name, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so what does that mean exactly?
So
Is this something you came up with?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I mean, like, decolonization is the word that I hear recently quite often. Like, how Western, like, global West's idea is being imposed on a lot of the concepts. For example, when we're thinking about anything really, like philosophy, it's quite westernized. A lot of the thinkers that we talk about as philosopher are old white dudes.
Yeah, I mean, even ideology is very much, like, colonized in a way, right?
Yeah.
And, like, our values and the way we see the world.
Yeah, exactly.
But what would we... Go ahead.
Sorry. And if something doesn't fall under the category that the West has created, then it's not even considered as such. For example, in Japan or in Asia, we have different kind of philosophy, or we can say, like, sphere of thoughts. But the West wouldn't call that philosophy. They would say, oh, it's a culture, it's a spiritual realm, and it's not like a discipline. You know what I mean? Even though it should be considered as a legitimate discipline of thinking, cognitive activity.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not. So that's why I think how we see the world, how we frame the world, it's really like colonial, like has a colonial influence.
And what would it mean to decolonize immigration in a way?
So I kind of want to break the status quo.
Okay.
Maybe we can say. Of course, we can't do it because this is something to do with the government and the law, constitutions and such. And we can just, like, open the border, right, to everyone, because it will only create chaos. We need to somehow control the amount of people who come here and stay. Because, for example, the Netherlands is such a small country. They can't possibly accommodate everyone who wants to come here. Right?
I mean, honestly, I have a little bit radical views about this. I feel like no frontiers or anything should exist, and this is all bullshit. But I mean, if we're being realistic, that's never gonna happen. Blah blah blah, etc.
But let's shoot it. What do you think?
I feel like this whole stuff is like completely artificial. You know,
It is.
it's like we create these goddamn like frontiers that don't really exist. Like, there are different types of people and ethnicities within countries. They're the same ethnicities in different countries. Like, all of this is just honestly just a construct made by people to control territory and like control their wealth and everyone's wealth, you know. So I just think it's very artificial. So I think the more open, the better. But I know that that's a very idealistic view in the sense that, like, I don't know, I don't see that happening, at least not in my lifetime.
No.
But I think we can at least push for policies that go more towards that direction, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's why we are talking about this now, to get the conversation going, right? To make people aware what we are dealing with today. Well, so in the Netherlands, there's a thing called integration process, integration exam, inburgeringsexamen.
You took that?
I did that. And I passed it.
Yeah.
And that's good. But, so basically what it is that people who are not European and who want to stay here, who want to get a permanent residency, for example, they need to take this exam and they need to pass it in order to receive the permit to stay here and work after a certain years. Without it, I'm not sure about the consequence, to be honest, but I don't think you can stay here because you won't be able to get the permit to stay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will have to leave.
Yeah.
Because somewhere I read you can come here as like a partner of the Dutch citizen, but if you break up, if your partnership deal is broken, then you have to leave within 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yes.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah. I don't okay, I need to fact check this, but I read it somewhere like that.
Wow, that's really crazy though.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty strict. But anyway, so European people can come here and can just stay here without knowing a word of Dutch, while people outside of the Europe
have to learn Dutch and Dutch culture and all this stuff.
I mean, that's all good. You know, I really think that a lot of more people should learn about the language and the culture if they want to stay here and integrate with the society. Yeah. Because that's only the matter of respect, right? I think.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty appropriate to learn those things if you want to stay here.
I have conflicting feelings about it, but yeah, I get it.
What is your conflicting feeling?
I don't know. It's just like, I just don't like this idea of like people having to do anything or specifically having to do anything to be somewhere. You know, specifically, well, we're talking about colonialism and all this stuff. You know, fucking Europe, how do you say this word? Colonialized?
Yeah, colonized.
Colonized! Sorry. I was thinking the word in Portuguese, I think. No, that's wrong too. I don't know. Whatever. Well, European countries basically colonized the whole world. Yes. And then now they're like, okay, if you want to come here, you have to do this and that. You have to learn our language. You have to blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's fair, dude. You know, after you do all that shit, then you're just like, all right, now you can come here. Or if you come, you have to do this. I'm kind of like, after you do all that bullshittery in the past, you kind of lose the right to tell people what to do. You know? I feel like there should be this, like, universal law of, like, the big colonizers of the world they could not accept people or something. You know? That would make sense.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
So, like, the big developed countries who have the history of colonizing
Yeah.
should accept everyone
Exactly.
if they want to come.
Or at least people from the countries they colonized.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Isn't
no
there
worries.
something about, like, Surinamese people that can come here easier or something?
Yeah. So, the Netherlands still have this islands in Caribbean.
Okay.
Aruba, Curacao,
Yeah.
and stuff. So people from there can come here easily.
But what about Suriname?
I'm not sure. They did colonize Suriname, but I'm not sure if they can come here easily now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
So let's not say things
Yeah,
that we don't know.
let's
we
not.
do not know.
Yeah. But one of the crazy things about this integration exam is that some people need to take this exam if they want to stay here, if they have the intention to stay here for longer than 3 months or 1 year or I don't know the amount of time. But anyway, a bit long. They need to take this exam prior to the arrival.
Oh, really?
Yes.
But you didn't.
I didn't because I'm from... Well, okay, first of all, I came here as a student.
Okay.
So then I didn't need to do that.
Okay.
But even then, some nationalities don't need to do this, and others do.
Which is messed up.
Exactly. So, even though I said beforehand that in 2017 something changed, so now I'm struggling a little bit more than Japanese people who came here before 2017. But still, as a Japanese, I have a bit more, easier time to obtain a residence permit here.
Is it Japanese people and Americans?
Yes.
Only?
There are a few more.
Mm.
Yeah. But not so many.
Yeah.
But basically, we don't need to have, I don't know how it's called, residence permit, but we need to get a work permit. Basically, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But some other people need both, two of them. Yeah. In order to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't.
Which is kind of backwards if you think about it, right? So it's like, it's always like the least developed countries, the poorer countries that like is the hardest, have the hardest time coming in, you know? And yeah.
Yeah. Like America, Japan, both are pretty developed.
Yeah.
So then we still have the easier time here. It's a bit unfair, yeah. But anyway, so like my friend who is from South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And so my friend has a Dutch passport. But his girlfriend is from South Africa and her nationality is also South African. And so he moved here before she came because he found a job here. Well, he grew up in South Africa, but he has a Dutch passport and he came here, started a job, easy for him because he's a Dutch national.
Mm-hmm.
But for his partner who want to come here had to take this exam.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So it kind of made the whole process a bit
More complicated.
more complicated, longer, and more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like not all expats are made the same.
No, who makes that kind of decisions, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are so much history,
Mm-hmm.
like all the agreements, treaties between countries,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, and on one hand, yeah, I think this is all bullshit, but on the other hand, like, whatever, I get it, and I get that this stuff is in place. What kind of frustrates me more, I guess, in the sense of living here, it's how we don't really, it feels like it's not really acknowledged.
No.
That it's like that. Because Amsterdam is always like, oh, we're so international, we're so cool, we're so tolerant. But it's like, apparently, how many people did you say were European? 50%?
50%, sometimes. something
Yeah,
like
it's like, is that really being that international?
that. No, well, they say, yeah, we accept like people from different countries, different colors, and any race. Like they say something like that on their website. Like now I'm looking at it.
I just feel like expat has become synonym with European almost.
Okay, so let's talk about this. What's the definition of expat? And how is it different from immigrants?
Yeah, I have no idea, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's actually interesting because before I moved here, every other place that I lived, the dialogue, or at least like the lingo that we used, was much more immigrant. I'm an immigrant, or this is how it works for immigrants, or whatever. And here, this it's very much pushed the whole expat discourse, you know? And there's the expat newspaper, the expat services, and blah blah, and the website, and house for expats, and etc. And it feels like we avoid saying immigrant for some reason.
I think it's a really good marketing efforts that are done by this country because we all know this website.
I-am-expat. Yeah, of course.
This is very well marketed, right?
Yes.
And this
is it a government thing?
I'm not sure if it's connected to the government directly,
but it's basically the life source of every expat.
Yeah, exactly.
Amsterdam.
Every expat knows this website. A lot of people refers to this website. They get information about everything. I am an expat. So their slogan is for expats of all colors, shapes, and sizes.
What the hell? That's so lame.
It's lame, but also it's not true.
No, it's definitely not true.
Because this is not targeted to people who, for example, don't speak English.
Yeah.
Who don't speak, or like who don't know how to use the interface and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I honestly think this is very targeted towards Europeans.
Yeah, or like people with money.
Yeah.
First article.
Purchase protection regulation for buyers on the real estate market. Oh god, I can't even deal with this.
Yeah, so this is like expat, the word, or like, okay, so their target group is expat, and
Rich
who are
ones.
they? Yeah, people who can buy houses, people who are highly educated. And like these two flashy buttons are find a job, find a house.
Yeah. Yeah, and the crazy thing is, the housing crisis here is so nuts. It is so hard to find a house. But if you're rich, it's so easy.
It is easy.
I mean, of course, that's not enough. That's, okay, understandable. But in a country that's so marketed towards, like, come, foreigners, here's such a great cultural experience, it's so hard to get settled. But I'm curious, so what is, in their perception, the difference between expat and immigrant?
Yeah, so that I'm not able to find it. But we can go to an immigration to the Netherlands page from the government.
Oh, they say the difference?
They don't. However, we can see. So this is the website. It's not really sexy, right? It's very different from i-am-expat.
Well, I would say that the Dutch government has good design, though.
Yeah, it's much better than most of the governments
stuff,
in the world. But so this is just like a very general immigration website, and then I just want you to read this out loud.
Okay. Immigrants who contribute to the Dutch economy. Yeah.
They have a separate category for this.
But everyone contributes to the Dutch economy.
Yes. You think so, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has some sort of activities.
Yeah.
They buy groceries, they take a train. But apparently, for them, they have a different definition.
Wow.
So if we click to this immigrants who contribute to the Dutch economy,
you can contribute to the Dutch economy or the Dutch culture or science. If you can contribute to the Dutch economy, or to Dutch culture or science, you are more likely to be admitted to the Netherlands. This is laid down in the Modern Migration Policy Act. So basically, the more money you have, the more likely you are to be admitted.
Yeah. Loud and clear.
Yeah. It's just sad, you know? Like, of course, most countries, I guess, are like this. I think what makes it frustrating about the Netherlands specifically is this dissonance between the discourse and the reality, you know?
Yeah, definitely. The discourse around it is like, yes, tolerance, acceptance. But tolerance and acceptance are two different things. Dutch culture might tolerate immigrants, foreign cultures, but do they accept it?
Yeah, that's a good point, because if you think about it, like, in Amsterdam at least, like, the segregation between, like, different ethnicities and stuff, it's really wild. Like, I mean, the city centers, all white people, the Baumers, mostly black people, Slotermeers, mostly, like,
Middle Eastern
people, and it's like you change, like, kind of, not neighborhood, but I guess areas in the city, and it's a completely different city. And if people come here as a tourist, I guess they wouldn't even know that, like, these huge populations and cultures exist, you know?
Not really.
And that's kind of interesting, because you were saying, like, the Dutch culture, the Dutch government at least, puts so much emphasis into integration, and you have to learn the language, and you have to blah, blah, blah. So how is it that we, in the practical sense, it's so segregated?
Yeah, and then it's just not being well represented.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a hard topic, and we will not have a solution to this.
Yes.
Unfortunately. But we can keep talking about it. You can still count my days until I can get my permanent residency. That's why I know when I will hit 5-year mark.
How?
It's in August.
Oh.
Yeah.
Almost there.
Almost there.
Yes.
But I still can't apply just by having those 5 years, because at the time of the application, you need to be on a non-temporary purpose visa. Meaning that you can't be a student, or you can't be on this orientation year visa. You have to be employed, or you have to be on a permanent partnership visa when you are applying for this permanent residency.
I already told you, last case scenario, we just get married.
Yeah, that would be the happily ever
after. Because I believe in no borders.
Yeah.
So I just want to disseminate my German passport to all people out there.
Well, happily ever after for everyone.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for listening, and see you at the next episode.
Yes.
Bye.